Hello, Yogiful family. Welcome back. Today, we have a special treat. We're interviewing Jahkil with Project I Am. So Project I Am is an organization that Jahkil started to help the homeless community. And what he does is he creates these care packages with all different types of things that the homeless people can use and benefit from. And he's distributed thousands and thousands of care packages to the homeless. So we are so excited to have you today, Jahkil. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. Jahkil, if you were a teacher and you could teach kids anything that you wanted, what would you teach them?
I would teach them simple math because lots of kids struggle with math in school just because they always are switching it up and finding new ways to do it. Just stick to the way that they know it. If that's the way they do it, then don't stop giving them a grade on doing another way of math when that's the way they stick to. So I would do that. But more importantly, if I was like a history teacher, maybe I would teach them right history because a lot of teachers, like for example, my sixth grade teachers, like they teach lots of fake things about history and kind of like they are unfair, kind of. Like my sixth grade teacher, he was teaching about Greek mythology all the way until the last week of Black History Month. So we didn't learn anything about Black history until like the last week. So I would say I would be like fair and like understanding of like what's going on in the world and actually like the learning about things on right dates probably. That's one thing that he made a mistake on. So yeah.
Yeah, and teaching the truth behind it. And even if it's not pretty and maybe it's not really fun to hear, but teaching the truth to the history so that everybody has that opportunity to learn what really happened, because that's what history is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your slogan or motto, I don't know what you would call it, is "Don't wait to be great." Yeah, you got your shirt on. Can you tell us about that? Why did you choose that?
So "Don't wait to be great" is my kind of like my motto. Like Nike has the "Just do it" maybe. Mine is Trophies has "Don't wait to be great." So that's something that means to me that us young people don't have to wait until we're adults to become young change agents or start our own business, because we can do it right now. And like, what's the point of waiting when you can start now and be ahead of everybody when you're older? So yeah, that's the meaning behind it.
That's awesome. And that kind of goes to my next question. I hear a lot from kids that they feel like they're too young or they're just have all these hiccups or problems that come up. And I imagine that kids that will watch this video are going to be just bubbling with excitement and ready to go make a change in their communities. So what would you say to kids that want to start an organization like you, and who has helped you along the way?
So my advice to kids who would want to like start a business is to start off small. That's what I did. I started off with a little packing party with doing 30 bags, and it was nothing big at all. We had like 40 of my friends and family there. And from there, it just transitioned to where it is now. So that really helped by starting off small and just getting an understanding and seeing how it goes. Don't start off with 1,000 or 200,000 of something like that. Make sure to start off small, and also looking in your community. And if like you ever wanted to do community work, but you didn't know how to start, the first thing to do is go in your community. Like see what things need help, see what things could use some improvement to it in your community. And if you don't want to do that, and if you always want to like do something about your passion, try to think about what you're passionate about. It could be like sports, it could be clothing. Let's say doing a sports store maybe, or like football or whatever. If you're kind of stuck on how to start that, just brainstorm ideas. That's the first thing that you should do. Brainstorm how you can turn that passion into like a life path and an organization even. And go into something that you want to do. Go into something that you like. A lot of times people go into something that they absolutely don't want to do at all. It's just something that their parents want them to do, or they think is good for like the public eye. Do what you feel comfortable with.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's my advice. And what was the other question with that again?
Who's helped you? Are you asking help regularly, and who helped you get this started?
Yeah, so um we have, it's not like I have employees. My mom, my dad, and my grandma are my little helpers. They're like my little elves or something, but um I don't have employees, so like volunteers, they come out and help. They hear about the organization. I have some of my friends and family members come on and help with the bags. They're very supportive. Love them for that. And yeah, that's a really big help for me. Getting the word out about the organization to volunteers, especially because we can sometimes have like 50, 100 volunteers come to like this big event that we're planning. So that's really cool. Like, and it's not just like each individual person just coming. There's like these programs that we contact, and they bring like a whole bunch of kids that are part of their program. So that is like a huge help to us. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah. So your biggest advice for kids that are getting started is to start small, to go into your community, see what the needs are, and find something that you're also passionate about, that you care about. Because if you're doing something just to help, but you don't really have a passion behind it, it's not going to be as successful. So find something you're passionate about that helps the community and start small. And also to ask help along the way. And it seems like you've gotten a lot of help from your family. So that's great that you have that family support to help you. And when you first came up with this idea, did you come to your family like with a plan and like, here's what I want to do, here's how it looks, how do we get there, or how did that go?
Mm, okay. So, oh, by the way, I really like your hat.
Oh, thank you.
Um, but it was not that at all. I did not have a plan at all. So when I was like younger, although I'm still young, I always saw these people coming up to our car door, not knowing why they were doing it at all. I always asked my parents if we could give them money, if but my parents began to say if we could give them the money, that we're going to become broke. So we had this big conversation, and added to that, when I was 5 years old, I went to go feed the homeless with my aunt and my cousins, and this is my first real big experience with the homeless. I saw how they live, how they ate, how they slept on the ground with like mice and dirt all over the place. And I was like so confused. And on the car ride home, I was bugging my aunt with questions the whole time. And she clarified a lot of things for me, which was really helpful. So when I got home and I asked my parents if we could give them all houses. We obviously couldn't do that. That was my plan, pretty much, to just give them all houses. Um, yeah, I just like wished the snap of a finger a house would appear right there. But yeah, we couldn't do that at all. So that's when that big conversation happened, when they kept telling me that we're going to become broke, and that incident, like when I came home, that's where that big conversation happened. With everything that's been going on with me asking them questions, we had to, I kept wanting to do it. It wasn't a one time thing that I just thought of. And once they saw that I wanted to keep doing it, and it was something that I really wanted to do. Um, they helped me come up with my first packing party at Razzmatazz, and that's where we had 30 people. Um, and we did like that small gathering. And then at the end of that, I asked my parents if we can like do another like one, like when's the next one going to be? And they were like, "What?" They thought they thought it was going to be a one time thing. So um, they actually gladly were supportive of that, me wanting to keep going. So they actually decided that we couldn't like just do the organization without funds, like do blessing bags without funds. So that's when we had to create like an organization around it. So yeah, that's what happened.
Cool. So you started off and you were like, you saw what was happening. You were in your community, you saw there was this need. You saw these homeless people and you're like, let's just give them money. And then you're like, let's just give them houses. And that was kind of that like big dream idea. And then you came down a little bit and started small with those packages, the blessing bags, and then got the support with your family and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool. I actually, because I knew I was going to be talking with you, I went out last week and me and my wife, and we got a bunch of packages and we put a bunch of stuff together and we went around Denver and passed out different bags. And I brought a 4-year-old with me who it was their first experience being around the homeless community in Denver. And it was such a powerful feeling to be able to just give a little something. And we didn't spend a whole lot of money on those packages, but we brought them out. So thank you. You also inspired me to do something here on the local level. And I was feeling really down and just feeling sad about the state of the world. And I remembered our interview that was coming up and I was like, okay, I'm going to just go do this. Let's do it. Let's see how it feels before I talk with him. And yeah, so thanks for inspiring me. It was a really cool experience to do that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And so you have a pillowcase collection out, and it's the I am, and it says like, I am smart, bright, caring, strong, etc. And this is essentially a bunch of positive affirmations. Oh, is that it? Cool.
Yeah, the one I keep in my bed. Blue is my favorite color, so.
Awesome. Orange is my favorite color, and you got it on there. So, so those are positive affirmations, and we practice positive affirmations a lot with yoga and kids yoga. So can you tell us about your positive affirmation practice? Do you do anything regularly, and how did that get started for the pillowcases?
I don't do it regularly. That's something that I should start doing, like just telling myself the things that I put on my pillow. Things that I put on my pillow are like, I am smart, I am intelligent, I am brave, I am yeah, just basically like all these things. I am fearless and all these like positive things. It's not just for me. Like when a person buys it, then they'll have that pillow and that will be a reminder for them what they are. So it's not just like for me personally to like ensure myself that I am these things. It's for everybody who wants to buy it, that they can assure themselves and be confident, and get out the like little stage that they're in of being afraid of things and think like people bullying them as things. That pillow really helped me through 7th grade. So hopefully it can help you too. Make sure to go to my website, officialprojectiam.com. That's where you can get it, and make sure that you can assure yourself of all the things that you actually are.
Love that. Thank you. And this is actually a question from a kid because I told them about you. And so this is the question. They want to know, what do you do when you're feeling just overwhelmed or sad about the growing homeless population?
When I like get overwhelmed and like see it, I usually like just feel hopeless. But then my parents usually come in and they're my saviors. They help me get through that stage of like crying and stuff because they help remind me that's why we're doing the organization, to help them. But then I sometimes say like the blessing bag isn't getting them off the street and things like that. And then they say like brainstorm different ideas, and then that's when we came up with the tiny home thing. It started in Detroit, I think, and I've been wanting to bring it to Chicago for like 3 years now, 3 or 2 years. So yeah, that's what usually happens. And I just like remember why I'm doing this, why I'm doing the organization. The whole reason is to help them. So yeah, that's how I get through it.
And you mentioned crying. Do you cry often?
Not often at all. I like get mad sometimes if like something happens, but I mean, the only reason that I would cry is maybe if I get hurt really bad. I don't know. If I broke my leg, I've never experienced that. I've never broke anything in my body, but I mean, like if something tragic happened, I would probably cry, but I don't cry that often. No, I mean, I get mad often because um, being in a home with your parents for 3 months, not going out, is very harsh. You can get annoyed annoyed by themselves.
Yeah, totally. And that's something I teach kids a lot too, is just being able to cry and like feel those emotions when you feel them. So thanks for expressing that and sharing that and being vulnerable with us. And you kind of mentioned this, but is there anything else that you're doing during the coronavirus to help you with being on lockdown or kind of transitioning out of that a little bit? Is there any tips that you would want to give to other kids that are frustrated and probably dealing with some emotional insecurities and feeling a lot of big emotions right now?
Yeah. Make sure that if you're gonna like start getting back into like your normal stage a little bit, wear a mask. That's very important. If it's not comfortable, think about why you're wearing the mask. Would you rather wear the mask and be uncomfortable or get corona and possibly die? That's what you gotta think about. It sounds harsh, but that's what it comes to basically.
Yeah.
So you just have to think about like your life at that point and make sure to not like if you're going to go out and try to get into your normal stage, make sure to like not touch anything, maybe even possibly wear gloves. It's all about safety. And for anybody who's dealing with like insecurities and stuff, just like I said, go get your pillow. That can really help you. That got me through seventh grade. So I would say to just get you a pillow, and that will really remind you of that helped me become more confident. Me just seeing those words on my pillow really inspired me, so it can inspire you too. So that can help you get through this coronavirus.
Thank you. That's great words from a wise 12-year-old.
I wouldn't say I'm wise.
Well, say that again.
I wouldn't say I'm wise at all.
Humble. So Jahkil, you're a youth activist, you're an influencer, you're a social entrepreneur. What's next?
What's next for me is doing more packing parties during Corona. Trying to get this tiny house movement going. I already have 3 connections. No, I have two of those connections are just from coronavirus. Like 2 of those connections happened during coronavirus, which is amazing to say. And I'm still getting these big connections during this virus. So it's not a lot. 3 connections is not a lot, but they're very huge ones. So the first one is Obama. He's the first connection.
No big deal.
The second one is I don't know if you watch AGTV, but me and my mom love watching that show. And there's these 2 twins that have a show on there. Forgot their names, but they actually popped on one of my lives one day and it like surprised me. And we watch the show all the time, but I told them like my future goals about the tiny house movement, and they said that they'll help me with that. And that's amazing because they basically deal with houses. So I got those 2. And then the last one is Steve Harvey. He said he's going to provide the funding for the first tiny home that I'm going to do. So I'm super excited for that. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, even just one of those connections is huge. So to have all 3, that's such an accomplishment. And that happened all during the coronavirus?
Well, 2 of them. Obama happened like 1 year ago. Okay. Like in 2019, actually, I think it happened in 2017. Yeah. But like when we met, and I actually have the picture right there of me and him shaking hands and stuff. I did not throw away that jacket. It is staying in a special box because he put his shoulder on it. So I'm never throwing that jacket away. But yeah, that happened like 2017 probably, where he said he was going to help me with the organization. I'm in like the tiny house movement, and we've been keeping in touch with the Obama Foundation. So that's really possible to happen once we start getting it going.
And is he a big inspiration for you?
Yes, he is. Especially since I was like born into the first Black president, which is really cool. I mean, I didn't really understand like president stuff when I was younger, but now that I understand it, he's a really big inspiration for me. And yeah, especially since he's the president, I mean, that's a really big inspiration. I mean, some presidents have their weak spots, specifically the one that we have right now. But Yeah, Obama was just amazing. He's like a superhero to me.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool to hear somebody who a lot of people look at as a superhero, to hear who their superhero is. So thanks for sharing that. And I mean, I'm sure you get asked this all the time, but do you mind telling us what it was like meeting him?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it was unbelievable pretty much. So it was actually a surprise. So the Obama Foundation, we were already in contact with them. They were like, they did a video on me, like a little video, and that was it. So like a month later, they invited us to the McCormick Place. It was like a reception for people in Chicago who are doing great things in the community, and it was like 50, 40 people in that room. It wasn't that big at all. It was kind of like we were all a little bit crammed. There were no seats. There were these tall black tables. So we were standing there for an hour with no drinks, no food, no chairs, just networking. And eventually you get tired of that. I mean, maybe not for the adults, but I'm a kid, so I have a little bit of a short. um, so I was kind of like just getting bored, and I just started just talking to my mom about stupid stuff like chicken nuggets and stuff because I was so bored. We were just in there for like an hour, and but it was all worth it because a guy came out of the curtain, and he said, "You guys are now going to meet Obama." So that was like mind blowing to me. Like what? And I started shaking my mom. I was the only kid in the room, by the way. So um, I was like shaking my mom. I was like jumping up and down, saying I was going to be the first one in line, which I was, obviously. So when I went up to him, we were in the line, and there's a lady next to him who tells him who this person is so he doesn't forget in the moment. Um, what do you? My dog is being weird. But in the moment, like so he doesn't forget. And he actually interrupted her while she was talking and say, "I know who this young man is. I was tweeting about him." And I like smiled so hard. I was trying to keep calm. And then the lady moved out the way. We took a picture. He shook my hand, put his arm on my jacket. Not throwing that away ever, but yeah, it was a really special moment for me. And now just looking at that picture, I was cheesing so hard. It was not, I mean, it was a decent smile, but I could see my face. Like my cheeks were probably red or something. I was smiling so hard.
I mean, for Obama to be like, no, 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 I know who this is. I can only imagine how good that must have felt. So, I mean, the cheese and smile makes sense. Well, is there any way, I guess I'm sure there is, could you tell us how people watching and kids specifically can get involved with Project I Am?
Yes. So you can go to my website, officialprojectim.com, make sure to get a pill or a shirt or something, because every purchase you make is going to help a homeless person. So just think of the lives that you'll help when you buy an item. You can go to my clothing line, trophiesbynaeem.com. Naeem is spelled Naeem. Naeem. When I was younger, I couldn't even spell my own middle name, so I understand. So trophiesbynaeem.com. I have like a bunch of shirts and jackets on there and hats. I also have like the pillows. So you can go with that. And I'm also starting this. Me and the board of directors of Dreams for Kids is starting this new project. So for all the kids out there and all the parents, make sure to listen up. There's this new project that we're doing. It's called the Power of One campaign. You can check it out. Go to dreamsforkids.com and look at the projects, and then you'll see the Power of One campaign. Make sure to check it out. We are kind of struggling with it because of the pandemic. We already had this plan like last year. So because of the pandemic, it's hard to like get children involved. We're trying to get 10,000 kids from across the world to raise money so that and 100% of the proceeds will be going to help other small businesses and help build organizations and even help start organizations too. So it can be helping you too potentially. So make sure to go check it out. If you don't have kids, try to spread the word to other people who have kids, your nephews, anybody. Just spread it out to kids. We need kids to be involved. And the whole thing that we're doing here is trying to help others. So if you ever wanted to do that, but you didn't know how, now's your chance. Like I have like 100 phone numbers in my phone from people. Like I go to schools and people always bum rush me and ask me for my number and stuff. So I like just am forced to give it to them because they're like crowding over me and stuff. Can I get your number and stuff? So I usually give them my number or something, and I never save it at all. So I have all these numbers in my phone, and now I find out they've always wanted to like help out, but I never had a way for them to. But now it's a chance. So make sure to go contact all your kids. It's called dreamsforkids.com. Go to the website, go to the Power of One campaign and check it out. So yeah, that's how you can get involved if you ever wanted to get into community service.
And we'll be sure to include all the links in this video. So be sure to check that out. And is there anything else you want to leave us with? Any questions for us?
Just don't wait to be great for all the young people out there. You don't have to wait at all. And the adults might underestimate you. You might think that you're too young. But some kids are smarter than adults. So, I mean, you don't need to downplay yourself just because you think you're too young. So make sure not to do that ever. You can follow your passion right now.
That's so good. I can't wait to see all the amazing things that you're going to do in your life. Thank you for everything that you do. And I know you play basketball, but do you practice any yoga?
I not do yoga specifically. I am getting into more stretching because I'm an athlete. I have to like keep stretching. I usually do have like strains like near my legs and stuff, and I'm usually always sore because of like workouts that I'm doing. But I do like some I'm trying to get into like stretching more. And I've always wanted to try yoga. Like my mom has been doing courses, and I've been wanting to do it with her. But yeah, I've always wanted to do that. If you have any recommendations, like a virtual class or something for yoga, then let me know because I'm trying to get into that.
I will. Most of our classes are geared towards a little bit younger kids, but I'll start making some new ones for kids your age. I think that would be of great benefit. And do you meet with any amazing kids your age that are also do like awesome things? Like, are your friend base, like, are they also influencers and social entrepreneurs? Do you have like a round table that you meet with other kids your age that are changing the world?
Yeah, it's all about networking. I would say that about maybe 60% of my friends come from like my organization, basically. Like kind of they came from me like networking with them, and then now they're like my friends. So that has been a really big help with finding friends and getting like partnerships and things like that. And there's this real estate show that I watch. It's called Love and Listings, and basically they're like this group of people. They work for different agencies, but they all come together and like ask each other like, do they have any clients for this house that they're selling and things like that. That's how I usually do things like in terms of like partnerships with other kids. I love working with other people who are doing great in the community. So yeah, I always do that. Yeah, I just did a partnership with a kid named Kavanaugh from Maryland, and he sent me some of his bags, and I sent him some blessing bags to give to senior citizens. So that was like really cool.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully we'll get more kids involved with this video. Thank you so much for spending your time. I know you have a busy schedule, but Yogiful appreciates you being here so much. And thank you for doing what you're doing. And thank you for the positive impact that you have on the world. It was such a pleasure to interview you.
No, thank you for having me.